Yes, I am wearing bunny ears. This is my nod to the fact that it's Good Friday. So how long the ears will stay on for, I have no idea. Might manage to keep them on as long as I kept the hat on, but they might be off after 5 minutes. So yeah, it's good to see you guys. It feels like ages since I did a live stream. I don't think it's been that long really, maybe just a couple of weeks, but it feels like months. So managed to dig out the ring light at least. Even though the nights are getting lighter, it's still not bright enough for filming with. Hi Gemma, it's great to see you. I hope that you're well. And hi Shanna. Yeah, I don't really have much to talk about, or else I have loads to talk about and I can't decide which to start with. There will be an Easter video on Sunday because it's Easter Sunday, so yeah, I've got that coming up. These ears are really not the most comfortable thing to be wearing. Hi Katie, no, I'm not going to be doing 24 hours eating Easter food because I did do that last year and I like to mix it up every year. So no hot cross buns will be appearing on this channel. There were 3 hot cross bun videos last year, so if people really want to know about hot cross buns, they can watch those. But this year, I don't even want to see a hot cross bun. So yeah, I'm trying to do something that I didn't do last year for this year. The only things that won't change are my small business summer and my death row dinners at Halloween, and both of them will be 7 days of videos, but everything else I do like to try and mix up what I'm doing, because I've seen so many videos coming up recently about 24 hours of eating Easter foods, and it does get really samey. Sham says, have you tried the gold Smarty buttons from Asda? I have, and the video featuring those is waiting to be edited. I've got quite a few videos that I need to get edited, because with all the new in foods, because I'm filming them over a number of weeks, it takes time to get everything, and then it seems I've managed to complete them all at once, and now I've got all this editing that I need to get done. So that is quite possibly how I will be spending Easter weekend. My family don't really do Easter. I tried to do Easter with my parents and I tried to do Easter with my brother and his family, but I was the only one who was interested. So Katie says, no, I haven't seen them. The gold Smarties buttons are exclusive to Asda at the moment. So that is the only place that you'll be able to get them at the time of this going out. Hopefully they will come to other supermarkets. It just seems so random. Some areas are getting some products before others, and yeah, usually the London area gets everything first, and up here in Scotland, and I guess down south in sort of Devon and Cornwall, we're always kind of at the end of the queue, but there we go. So yeah, I don't have any actual Easter plans, but I'm really glad that we're getting some weather that feels like spring, even if it's going to all change and be back to rain on Monday. I am going to show you some dice that I bought, which I know will not be interesting to most of you, but I won't spend long. I got some liquid core dice, so they've got liquid inside and sequins and little silver stars. Katie says, Glasgow looked very nice, intrigued to go, and also I got a white cream egg. Glasgow is lovely. I need to go there more often, and I'm glad you got your hands on a white cream egg. I wonder if they'll be bringing out a version of that at Easter. And that's the other dice, which is kind of like a gemstone, and it doesn't really work in this light, but there's a photo on Instagram in the sunlight, and they kind of go like rainbows. So yeah, that's for my Dungeons and Dragons. Shyam says, missed your live streams. That's really lovely, Shyam. I'm still enjoying the playlist that you sent me, by the way. You have opened me up to a whole new genre of music that I would never have discovered by myself, I don't think, because I wouldn't have known where to look or who to look for. I don't know if there'll be another live stream this month. I will try and get one done. I don't have as much free time as I did, which is why they have been less often. But I did say that if I reached 500 subscribers, I'd do a live say it or shot it type video, but with food rather than alcohol, because I am such a lightweight that 3 shots and I'd be out, and that wouldn't be fun for anyone. So yeah, I'll have to see. Maybe that will happen in the next couple of months, but that could be quite a fun one to do, where you guys will get to ask me anything. Although you can pretty much ask me anything in live streams anyway, so it's just that in that particular live stream, I would have no choice but to answer. I'm actually going to take off the ears because they are really hurting. I've never been able to wear Alice bands. Even as a kid, they always hurt me behind the ears. Katie says, I actually watched your Eugenia video today. I really thought you were informative in it, and I view her in a different way now. Thank you, Katie. I'm not sure if you mean the first one that I did or the second one, because I've got 2. Because I was in the second one, I was kind of responding to comments that were left on the first. But even though I did that video a while ago, my opinion hasn't changed. But she's not somebody that I'm subscribed to. I don't follow her or anything like that. I sometimes get her videos popping up on my recommended ones, but I've also been getting some really strange random things popping up on there. Shan says, what are you having for dinner tonight? I'm having McDonald's tonight. I hope you enjoy your McDonald's. That sounds like a nice treat for a Good Friday. I'm so boring. Every time you ask me, it's pasta. But it's pasta. Actually, last time I think it was a baked potato, but tonight's going to be pasta. The rana filled pasta. Katie says the first video. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess, because I think I said more in that one than I did in the second. The second was more about responding to comments left on the first one. Gemma says, me too, always figured I have a big head. Big heads for big brains, Gemma. But unfortunately not for Alice bands. Shannon says, is it just me or does Easter egg chocolate taste better than normal chocolate bars? It does. I don't know why, but chocolate in shapes tastes better than chocolate in bars. And I don't know why. I really don't, but maybe it's to do with the whole experience of getting the Easter egg, and if you're me, bashing it on the table like a weapon to get the damn thing to crack. But yeah, I think Easter chocolate, and at Christmas when they bring out some of the chocolate models, it does definitely taste better. And you can also get some chocolate brands that you can't get at other times of year, like the white cream egg is a prime example, although that is new for this year, so it's something that may stick around. But yeah, it's just a shame Easter eggs are so expensive. There was one Easter though, I went absolutely mad in the sale on Easter Monday, and I bought about 10 Easter eggs because they were all really discounted, and they lasted me most of the year. But I won't be doing that again. Gemma says, love the Glasgow vlog, I must go back one day. Me too, Gemma. Although for me, there's really no excuse when it's only a half-hour train ride away. Cheyenne says the weather has been fantastic. It's been really lovely here today. It's been so sunny and quite warm. Although it was pretty cold first thing, but it has warmed up. It's nice to actually be able to wear a dress and not have a cardigan over it, although I am still having to wear tights, but it feels like spring is finally coming. Katie says, my mum's got me a Milky Bar Easter egg from Asda, a big one. I hope that you enjoy it. You don't have to eat it all at once if you don't want to. I've had Easter eggs where I would have like 50 grams and I would weigh it out. And that's what I would have each night. Like a couple of years ago when my recovery was in its barely started stages, because the prospect of an entire egg was just more than I could handle. Hi Rose, welcome, and it's good to see you. I do have an Easter egg, but I don't know what it is. I've got a friend called Mark, and every year I send him an Easter parcel and he sends me an Easter parcel, and that's sort of the only Easter egg that I get. But last year we sent each other the same egg, which was quite funny. And one time I sent a parcel to him and it came back to me because I had not covered up my address on the back from when he had used the same box to send me a parcel first time. But luckily I took it to the post office and explained what an idiot I was, and they took it back from me. Chris the Butcher and Friends says, happy Easter, Kaz. Happy Easter to you, Chris, and your friends. I'm guessing butcher is in profession. I can't really think of what other kind of butcher there would be, unless you're a serial killer, but you wouldn't advertise that on YouTube. I don't think, anyway. Apologies if you can hear my neighbours. I think they are playing with their baby. It's really obvious to me, but my mic might not be picking it up. Chris says, haha, yes, a butcher. I have problems going into butcher's shops, and it's because when I was 4 years old, my mum's brother, my uncle, well, my mum's uncle, so my great uncle, asked my mum if he could take me to buy dog food. And she said yes, thinking he was going to take me to the supermarket to buy tins. He took me to an abattoir. And even though I don't remember it, ever since then, I've not been able to eat ham because it's so shiny. I like ham. I have tried it and I do like it, but the look of it, I just can't seem to get over. Cheyenne says, do you think you will get 1 trillion subscribers by 2024? Cheyenne, I don't think I'll even get 500 subscribers by 2024. My channel is growing. I'm trying to think of something that grows really slowly, but I can't think of anything. Yeah, I don't think I'm even going to get to 1,000 subscribers by 2024, but I'll keep making videos as long as I keep having fun, and hopefully you guys will keep watching them and giving me suggestions for things that you would like to see. Rose says, I don't think I can hear anything, so don't worry. I'm guessing you mean you can't hear my neighbours. For a moment I saw that and I thought you couldn't hear me, but I've worked out what you mean. I'm a bit slow today. Rose says a banana tree. Yeah, I guess my channel is growing at the rate of a banana tree, whatever that may be. Katie says we have to come up with Kaz campaign. That's very sweet, Katie. I guess you can just, I don't know, share my videos on Instagram stories or tell people you like about them. But, you know, I didn't set out to become an influencer or anything like that. I miss performing because I used to do a lot of acting, and so this kind of gets it out of my system. Gemma says it's growing though, Kaz, slow and steady wins the race. That's quite right, Gemma. I'd rather have a few followers who I really interact with and get on with and feel like I know than millions and millions of complete strangers. And I think I enjoy these live streams more because I'm seeing familiar handles come up, names come up, and so I recognise you guys when you join in, and obviously you know who I am, I hope. So yeah, I quite like that, because it does kind of feel like I'm just chatting to friends. Yeah, I had something on my mind to say there and it's completely gone. I don't know, I think being Scottish and having so much exposure to sunlight has fried my brain. Can't cope with it up here. Shyam says, can you please do grocery hauls and meal plans on your channel? Grocery hauls, maybe, but the way that I shop for groceries is not, like, I don't do a big weekly shop. I go to the supermarket every couple of days, and it's just because I'm a single person living alone. So a big weekly shop doesn't really work for me, but I can certainly think about doing a smaller grocery haul. And when you say meal plans, do you mean like what I eat in a day and what I eat in a week videos? Is that the kind of thing that you mean? Katie says you're an influencer on me. That's lovely of you to say. I don't know if I'm a good influence or a bad influence. And you want to go on a cruise after my experience. I would say it's definitely best with a cruise to not go on an ocean cruise. My uncle is currently on a cruise, and last I heard he was in the middle of the Pacific and the sea was so rough that the swimming pool on board had to be emptied. People were pretty much having to stay in their cabins and stay lying down because the ship was just rocking so much. And we only had one day at sea on the cruise, and I actually did have to go and lie down for a couple of hours on that day because I was starting to feel a bit queasy. But I guess it just depends where you go and when, but I would love to go on a Caribbean cruise. So anyone would like to come on a cruise with me? We could have a big cruise party, I don't know. But yeah, and the cocktails were amazing. I never knew a banana daiquiri existed before then. Shyam says, what is your least favourite chocolate? Dark chocolate. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. When, I think it's Cadbury's Roses, well, it would be because Bourneville is Cadbury's. They, ages ago, like maybe the 90s, they used to do those little rectangles of Bourneville, and I could eat one of those, but I tried to eat a bar of dark chocolate a few years ago now, and it was horrible. It was just so bitter. And I know it's meant to be higher quality and better for you, but I'm just like a sugar junkie. And I'm quite happy with cheap chocolate. Katie says, snap. I used to love white chocolate, but I think, well, blonde chocolate is now my favourite. Probably blonde, then milk, then white. But yeah, dark chocolate is just... So Shan says dark chocolate is disgusting, and Katie says it's meant to be an adult thing. Well, I am about as mature as I think I'm going to get at this age now, so I guess I'll always be a bit childish, but I think you need to be in touch with your inner child so you can have fun and not take yourself too seriously. I mean, you guys will know if you've watched my videos, the lengths to which I will go to try and make people laugh. And I really don't care about embarrassing myself that much if somebody gets a laugh out of it. Katie says white, my fave is childlike. I don't know that white chocolate is childlike. I mean, I think it's the sweetest, but it's apparently, well, it's not apparently, it's not really chocolate because it doesn't come from cocoa beans in the same way. But my dad, who is obviously older than I am, loves white chocolate, and he's got a really sweet tooth as well. So I think it's just taste preferences. Some people like sweeter things and some people don't. I mean, some people hate Brussels sprouts, and I will never understand that because I love them. But I guess somebody needs to love them, so it may as well be me. I think I may have overdone the hairspray a bit today. My hair feels a bit crispy. Carol says, do you have an opinion with regard to buying food for one? Like a bag of carrots is 19p, but if you only need one carrot, it is 10p. But who even cares about saving 9p? I'll answer that in a second, Carol. Shanna says, what are you having for tea tonight? I'm having a Rana branded filled pasta because I love those. Going back to your question, Carol, I think it can encourage food waste because some people will buy the bigger bag of carrots and then not be able to use them all, but then you can slice them and freeze them. I mean, it's like a loaf of bread. I'm not realistically going to get through an entire loaf of bread before it goes stale, so I freeze it, and I freeze milk as well. It does annoy me when I can only get huge packs of things, but I guess it just depends on what people tend to buy and what their budgets tend to be. But I'm quite lucky because my parents do live about 20 minutes away from me, so if I bought a big bag of carrots, I would just split it with my parents. And we've done that with potatoes as well in the past. So yeah, it's a tricky one because supermarkets are not really geared towards single people. I can't really say it's singlist because that's not a word, but there we go. That's my opinion, which probably isn't that much of an opinion, really. Yeah. And Carol also says, I've been on 3 Caribbean cruises, highly recommend, they are awesome. I definitely want to go on one. Ideally, it would be probably my dream honeymoon, but since I'm not going to have a honeymoon at any point, I might just go myself. I can always take one of my Highland cows with me for company. Sham says, can you please do more Too Good To Go videos? I love them, was watching them today. I probably will, Shyam. I actually wanted to do a Glasgow version where I would go into Glasgow because there's way more choice of bag that you can get in Glasgow than there is here, but it's finding a day and a time that I can go in to film it. But it is in my head to maybe get that done. It's something, because I don't really want to be wandering around Glasgow when it's dark or wet, so that's a reason that it hasn't happened yet, but I would like to try doing different areas and just see what's out there. Katie says, I don't really understand Too Good To Go, how it works, etc. I won't explain it all here because I do go into it a bit more in my videos, but it's basically an app, and at the end of the day, you can collect, say, a bag of random items from Costa or Starbucks for a fixed price of £4, and you could end up with like 10 quid's worth of items, you could end up with 20 quid's worth of items. It's completely random. Carol says, anyone tried a white chocolate Toblerone? I have indeed, Carol. I actually have one somewhere in my flat right now. Or did I eat that? No, I think I ate that. I think I ate that one last week. I did have one. It was delicious. It was amazing. And I was also lucky enough to try the gold Toblerone, which is also amazing. And I also really like the milk chocolate one, and the Twin Peaks version that Poundland do. It's not as good, but it's still perfectly acceptable and much cheaper and comes in way more flavours. Katie says, do all the coffee shops do it? It varies depending on where you live. I know that you're based in London, so you will probably find hundreds of places do it. It's not just coffee shops, it can be takeaways and things as well. Where I live, it's mainly just coffee shops. And I think there's one Chinese takeaway that does it. But yeah, it just depends where you live, basically, how many businesses are signed up to it. Oh, and some supermarkets do it as well. Cheyenne says, can you please do a meet and greet? One day I would love to meet you. I would certainly consider doing a meet and greet if I had a bigger channel, but at the moment, I think if I did one, it might end up being me standing alone in the middle of George Square for 2 hours. Knowing my luck, I'd be there so long I'd get the pigeons coming and landing on me. But yeah, it's something I would certainly consider doing. I do want to travel more around the UK. If I could afford to do it, I would love to do like a big city tour where I would just go around as many cities as possible in the UK, just for a couple of nights, like Airbnb it and just, you know, explore them. That's something that I would really love to do, but unless I win the lottery, it's not going to be possible. But you never know, maybe my numbers will come up soon. Katie says I would go. I think the other issue with like a meet and greet is the fact that I'm not in the centre of the country. I'm so far north. Well, I'm so far north, I'm in Scotland basically. But I don't know, maybe I could do a tour. Kaz on tour. I wouldn't be selling many tickets for that, I think, or t-shirts. Shanna says, I'd love to come and meet you, but it's a long way to travel from Cornwall. Shanna, I would love to go back to Cornwall. I grew up in North Devon and I went to Cornwall a couple of times, but I haven't been back. I've been to Devon since I left there. I left when I was 14, I think. And I have been back once since, but we didn't go as far as Cornwall. But yeah, Cornwall is absolutely gorgeous. Sham says, I have a joke. Why did the banana go to the hospital? Because it was not peeling very well. That's made me laugh. It might not be the best joke anyone's ever heard, but it made me laugh. Katie says, we are planning 48 hours in Cambridge, Wales, Edinburgh, Leeds, Brighton, etc. Cambridge and Edinburgh are lovely. I've been to Wales. I can't remember which part. I have a relative in Wales. I think she's around the Cardiff area, but not in Cardiff. It will be in one of those places with no vowels in it that I can't pronounce. No offence to any Welsh people, we are just as bad up here. We have a place called Ecclefechan. So yeah. Yeah, I've been to Cambridge quite a few times, again, a long time ago. And I would love to go back. Cheyenne says, good night, Cheyenne, and thank you for joining the live stream. Carol says, I completely adore the Welsh accent. I don't even care what they talk about. Just bring me Welsh accents all day. Well, Carol, I can try, but I'm not very good at it, you know. That's all I'm going to try and say, because it goes badly wrong very quickly when I try and do a Welsh accent. Rose says, I used to live in Cardiff and giving directions to anyone was hard. It's kind of like that here. And in Devon as well, there's a place called, now I hope I get this right, it's called Woolsery, but it's spelt Woolsfartherwee or something like that. Yeah, and trying to tell people where that is, because when they read it on a map, if they're not from the area, they're not going to know how it's pronounced. Gemma says, my boyfriend is Welsh. Gemma, please don't let him hear that. Please don't let him hear that shocking accent. I may be attempting accents with doing international food. I would love to be able to do accents, because when you do acting, it's really good to be able to do them. But the only one that I can really do is Yorkshire. Katie says, I've stayed in Penarth, and Rose says Penarth is lovely. I'll have to go to Penarth. But my geography is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Carol says, I feel accents is a topic we can talk about forever. There's so many of them, Carol. One of my favourites is the Southern Irish accent, and a channel I follow, Gababetic is her name. Well, it's her channel name, it's not her actual name. But she has the most amazing, lilting, soft Irish accent, and yeah, that's my favourite accent. I did attempt an Australian accent for a podcast. It's an Australian-based true crime podcast I listen to, and I volunteered to be a voice actor, and then he asked me to do an Australian accent, which I cannot do. So I hopped on YouTube and learned in 15 minutes to do an Australian accent. And he did use me, but he hasn't asked me since. So I think that says it all, really. Rose says, I think your accents are good. That's probably because you haven't heard me do that many. I mean, I did try a Scottish one in my Scottish video, And you'd think, growing up with a Scottish family and now living in Scotland, I'd be able to do a Scottish accent. I can't. I'm useless. And then I'm not going to read out every comment, but for anyone watching the playback, a lot of comments about how gorgeous Penarth is. So it looks like if there is somewhere you want, or if you're struggling to think of somewhere to go on holiday in the UK, Penarth could be the place to go. Rose says your Australian accent is good. It's probably good in the way that Mike Myers as Shrek does a good Scottish accent to Americans, but not to Scots. So an actual Australian person asking me to do an Australian accent was terrifying, but I didn't want to say no, and I thought, well, I'll just do the best I can. And I mean, it was obviously not so bad that he couldn't use it, but yeah, he hasn't asked me since, but maybe he will, because it would be fun to try some other accents. Rose says, Kaz is good, trust me. I can't think of my phrase. Every time I do an accent, to get me into it, I have a phrase. So to get the Welsh accent, I just say to myself, Welsh dragon, and that sort of gives me the Welsh accent. And then for Yorkshire, it's thinking about it afterwards. I realised it must have been the doctor alerted the vicar. It's just random phrases like that that kind of get me into the accent. But yeah, the really annoying thing is that my brother is outstanding at accents. Why could I not have had that talent? Why did he have to get it? Because he doesn't use it. But anyway, guys, I can actually see this video has gone on, or live stream has gone on for nearly 40 minutes. So I am very sorry for overrunning. But thank you to everyone who has joined, and I hope you'll come back for the next one, whenever that may be. Probably not next week, because I have a Dungeons and Dragons game on the Saturday, and that's going to be a late night. Not that this is a late night, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'll post on my Instagram stories when I'm going to do one, but there will definitely be one in May. There'll be one every single month. Just not every single week. But for now, thanks for watching. Take care and happy Easter. And let me know in the comments below on Easter Sunday or on my Easter video what Easter eggs you have, because I like to know that kind of thing. Bye.